Hello everyone. Very good morning, very good evening. Whomever, wherever you are from, welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you like my videos and content, please do give thumbs up and share with your friends and colleagues. Right. With that, let's get started with the today's session. Today, I'm going to demonstrate on Oracle Restart, ASM, or the grid infrastructure administration or the maintenance. This is our lab, Oracle Lab 2, where I have installed my ASM and I have installed my database on top of that ASM storage. So I'm going to demonstrate what are the hierarchy, how we can do a maintenance on this particular server. Example, this is my lab. Let's say this is my lab 2 server where I've installed GI or ASM home. Right. I installed my GI and ASM home or the GI software or ASM software where I have created plus ASM instance. On top of that, I have installed Oracle home or Oracle software where I have created this a test DB. Right. So this is the setup right now. I have it. How I can do a hierarchy, how I can do a shutdown, how I can do a maintenance on this database, on this ASM, on this, grid infrastructure. That's for standalone. This is Oracle Restart Server. The hierarchy goes like this. On this particular lab, this whatever lab, the moment you install this grid infrastructure, there's something called HAS, or you can call it as a OHASD, Oracle High Availability Service Daemon. So this is the core fundamental service which will get started with your Oracle Restart server when you install your grid infrastructure or when you install this ASM software. And this is part of your OS process, init daemon. And on top of this OHSD, your plus ASM will run. On top of this ASM, your database will run. Right? So this is your hierarchy: database, ASM, and HAS. So any maintenance you do on individually database level, shutdown startup, it will not impact your ASM and HAS. Any maintenance on your ASM level, shutdown startup, if you do, your database will be get impacted, but your HAS will not be get impacted because that's a core service, fundamental service. Any maintenance you do on HAS level, that's going to impact your ASM as well as the database because that's a base for your ASM and database. That's a hierarchy. So I'm going to demonstrate that with the live example here. For that, I have written in my blog, one of my blog here. If you missed out, you can go to my blog, mallik034blog.com, and you can refer that one. So very first thing, I want to do my, let's say, database level maintenance. I can simply run various options to do a shutdown, startup, and to bring or bounce my database instance. Quickly for that, what I can quickly show .env test db. If I do env pipeline grep capital Varam, so my test db Oracle base, Oracle home is all set. I can use srvctl config database -d test db, srvctl config database -d test db. So this srvctl config database -d test db will give me what is my db unique name, db name, what is my Oracle home, and who is the owner of that, and where is my SP file. This is eventually under data disk group, and where are my data files on the data and reco, where are my archelog control files, all are under data and reco. Right. I can do srvctl status database -d test db to do that database status check. My database is running. I can connect SQL plus /s dba. We're gonna connect to my SQL command line. Select instance underscore name, comma, status from $v instance. My instance, right, my instance testdb, which is in open mode, select name, comma, open underscore mode from $v database. You can query whatever you are comfortable. Testdb, which is in read write mode. So I can do my database shutdown and startup using my database. I can do shutdown in the SQL command line like shut immediate and SQL command line startup. So I can do my database bounce using this SQL plus command line shut immediate and then do a startup, or you can do in one shot startup force. You're gonna do shut down your database and you're gonna start your database. Right, your database is closed, database is dismounted, and then I can do startup. Right, instance is shut down. Quickly go back, do psfnf grep smon. Your ASM is running, database is went down. Few minutes back, you have both database and ASM was running. We just now brought my database down. So I can connect back to my SQL command line, which is gonna connect to idle instance. I'm gonna start my database back. Fair enough. That's a one way to start and stop your database. And there's a one more method using srvctl with the OS command line, srvctl status database -d testdb, or you can do srvctl config, check the status of that, or you can do srvctl stop database, or you can do srvctl start database. Right, you can see your database is got opened in the SQL command line. We're able to shut down and start up my database. Right, my database is back online. So I can run this OS command line, srvctl config database, srvctl status database, and srvctl stop database. And once you stop your database, your DB will be down, instance will be down, and you can use the same srvctl command to start your database. That is also supported. Right, let it get it down. So meantime, you can open one more session and tail the alert log. Okay, your database is stopped. You can check the status again. Your database is not running. Let's start your database. At meantime, I can start my alert log here, tail the alert log of the database. Right, I can quickly use a command called locate alert underscore testdb.log. That's going to give me that alert log location. Locate alert underscore testdb.log. So this is my location. Tail hyphen f, tail hyphen f, or tail hyphen 100f. So your DB is started now. srvctl start database. Check the status. Your database is back online. Just do psfnf grep smon, and your ASM is as it is, but your database is got started. You can see your ASM is started on August 2nd, but your database is just started a few minutes back, few seconds back. Right. Fair enough. So anything you do at database level, it's going to impact only on that database. Your ASM and HAS service will not be impacted because on top of HAS, your ASM will run. On top of ASM, your database will run. Right. Now, let's do anything maintenance on the ASM level, which is going to impact your database. How it will be. Like let's set the environment back to my ASM plus ASM. Right. env grep capital Ora. So your ASM Oracle base, your Oracle home, that's a grid home. And I can do srvctl config database or srvctl config ASM, my bad. You have to use srvctl config ASM. Your ASM home is CRS home, that's a grid home. That will be use your own app 19c grid, and password file for your ASM is plus OCR disk group and Vara PWASM, and backup password file. I don't have backup password file. ASM listener, it's a listener, and SP file for your ASM is under OCR, ASM parameter file registry, and discover string is these are your ASM disks. So in order to connect to ASM, we're going to use SQL plus slash as sysASM. Just see the difference here. In order to connect to ASM, we're going to use SQL plus slash OS authentication as sysASM. Whereas in order to connect to database, we're going to use SQL plus slash as sysDBA. That's one of the difference between connection of your database and ASM. Right? You have connected to your database. Sorry, you are connected to your ASM instance, and now we want to check for the query whatever I ran here. So here you can run your VDollar ASM instance, but VDollar database will not support because your ASM is not open mode, because your ASM does not have any control files or the data files. But if I do this VDollar instance, your ASM is just started. ASM will never go to mount mode because it does not have any control file. So if I can check for database status, it will not run. This query is not supported. So since we're talking about this one, I'll touch base on one of the basic concept. You might be aware of that. That's a database typical startup sequence. So this is my database typical startup sequence from shutdown to no mount, no mount to mount, mount to open. So this is the typical shutdown or startup sequence of your database. From shutdown to no mount, you're going to read SP file or the P file. SP file or the P file, you're going to read. Your database instance will get started in no mount. From no mount to mount, you're going to read control file. Your database will go into mount mode. From mount to open, you'll read your data files or the redo logs, and then your database will get opened. Whereas your ASM instance has only SP file, your ASM instance will go from shutdown to no mount by reading SP file or the P file associated to that ASM instance. This is your ASM instance startup sequence from shutdown to no mount by reading SP file. Your ASM does not have any control file and does not have any redo log file or data file. It will never go to mount mode or open mode. That's a basics. You might be already aware of that. Great. So now with other database query, I cannot use it. I can use only with other instance. Your instance is started from shutdown to no mode by reading the SP file. It has started. Right. So how I can do my ASM instance? So this is for database instance. We know I can use SQL command line or srctl command line to start and stop. And to do start and stop of my ASM instance, I can use same SQL command line, or even you can use the startup host, doesn't matter. And I can use same thing srctl status ASM, srctl config ASM, srctl stop ASM, and srctl start ASM. So I can use the same thing. Right now, I'm in a command line, shut immediate. The moment I do shutdown ASM, automatically your database will be down. And you can see database is shutting down. Your database, some in the database other tab, shutdown initiated by this particular TNSB1, and background processes are getting down here. Right, your database is getting impacted. Anything you do on ASM level, your database will be impacted. Right, you can see your database alert log here. Instance shutdown complete. Right, your database disk groups are dismounted and instance shutdown completed. Right, if I do exit, do ps-f grep smon, you don't have ASM, you don't have database, because anything you do at ASM level, your database also get impacted. Right, I can do the same startup. The beauty of this ASM restart or Oracle restart server is the moment you start your ASM, automatically all the database will comes online. You don't need to separately start the databases. Right, so shutdown and startup you can do in SQL command line. You can see your database disk groups are mounted and your ASM is get started, and do ps-f grep smon, and you can wait for a few more minutes. Your database instance, everything will get started along with the ASM here. So this is one way, like, you can do your ASM shutdown and startup in the command line. or even you can do SRCTL command line to check your ASM shutdown and startup. Your ASM is running on this node 2 and do a config I just now showed. One more time, I'm going to show it here. Config database. This is your ASM configuration, and I can do stop ASM automatically. It's going to stop your all the databases and all the listeners, whatever the services are associated. I can use srctl stop asm -f. In case of srctl stop asm did not work and it has a dependency on the databases and the data disk groups and all, you can use -f, which is gonna forcefully stop your asm instance. So I can use your stop asm, or you can use -force start asm, stop asm. So anything you do at asm level will gonna impact your database. And now you can do same thing as it will start ASM. The moment you start your ASM also will get started. And along with that, your database also will get started. Right, that's the beauty of your auto restart, your ASM and the database. Right. So that's about your ASM. Whatever you do at ASM level is going to impact your database level. Make sure that any maintenance on ASM get a downtime for all the associated database which are running under that ASM instance or ASM storage. So this is one way to start and stop your ASM. And we have one more method, ASM CMD. We have ASM CMD command line. You can do the same thing. Shut immediate, or you can do shut abort, or ASM CMD, and you can do startup. In the ASM command line, if I do ASM CMD -P LSDG, right, these are the disk groups right now, which is available. Let me clear this one. Right now, I have these many disk group data, disk group C, OCR, and RICO, and I can do shut immediate. I can do shut immediate, and sometimes set immediate, shut down immediate. Shut will not be recognized here. Right. Shut down immediate, it's going to ask you whether to do it in a normal mode, abort mode, or immediate mode. You have to pass that on along with the shut immediate. Pass your right. So shut hyphen immediate, or shut hyphen abort. So you can follow that whatever the method you want. Shut down hyphen immediate, or hyphen abort, or hyphen normal. Right. So your let's go back. Do ps-ef, grep smon. So you have smon, your ASM database, all will go down. And the same thing you can do in the ASM command line, connect it to idle instance, do a startup. That's going to start your ASM and all the associated databases. Right. When it comes to database, you have these two options: SQL command line to shut down and start up your database, or srctl OS level command line to shut down and start up your database. When it comes to ASM, you have SQL command line to shut down and start up your ASM, or OS command line, srctl command line to start your database, start your ASM instance and stop your ASM instance. And you have ASM command line option to shut down and start up your ASM instance. Right. That is for database, that is for ASM, and last final hierarchy is your HAS. Final hierarchy is for your, right now we talked about database, we talked about ASM, now we talk about HAS. So HAS, you can do, HAS stand for high availability service, or you can call it as a OHAST, Oracle High Availability Service daemon. So how we can do that on shutdown and startup? With the OS command line, srvctl status, or srvctl check HAS, or srvctl stop HAS, or srvctl start HAS. So you can do this srvctl check HAS, srvctl check HAS, srvctl HAS. Right, sorry, it's my bad. It's a CRSCTL. right? It should be a CRSCTL, not a SRVCTL. CRSCTL check HAS. So it says Oracle High Availability Service is online. Check HAS. And you can do stop HAS. The moment you stop HAS, remember here, the moment you do stop HAS, it's going to impact your ASM, it's going to impact your database, everything will be down. And then the moment you start your HAS, the beauty of that HAS is the moment you start it, it'll automatically start your ASM, it'll automatically start your database. Right? If I do ps-ef, grep smon, gone. Your database, your ASM instance, everything is gone. So if I do start HAS, the moment I start HAS, my ASM will come online. The moment ASM come online, my database will comes online. It's all automated here. Wait for a few seconds. You can observe your HAS. So this is one thing. CRCTL check. You can do this stop HAS with the force. Some reason if your stop HAS did not work, you can use this force command. And you can do the services CRSCTL stat resource hyphen t hyphen init. You can run this command to check your the resources. Right, you can see all the resources are getting started here. Right, so your ASM instance shutdown and stable, and it's starting now. And your ASM is started. Right, your ps-ef grep smon, your ASM is started, and internally you it will start your database. And if not started, again you can go back. Automatically it should start. If not, then go back and use the same srctl command. But before that, you have to set your environment to testdb and run that one. That's the beauty of your HAS. HAS internally starts ASM, and ASM internally start your database. So for HAS, what we're talking about HAS, you can use check HAS, stop HAS with hyphen force, start HAS. Once it started, check your services using this ASM CRCTL stat resource hyphen t hyphen init. Set the ASM back to plus ASM, set the environment back to plus ASM, and you're going to do that all the resources, whether online or all offline. Right, so this all looks good. Now we have one more method to stop and start HAS, that is initd. That is a system daemon. Now left, you can go etc init.d cd/etc init.d ohsd. So this is your ohsd daemon process, which is part of your OS. So if I do systemctl status ohasd. So you have your systemctl status. That's a OS daemon. The moment you install your ASM, automatically your OHSD service will be part of your init.t, and that will be part of your OS process, and that will be handled at your OS level. Systemctl status OHSD, your OHSD process is active and running. The moment you shut down, you're gonna shut down your status. Instead of that, you can do stop OHSD, and you can do start OHSD. So you can use your stop OHSD. The moment you do stop OHSD, so again, it has to be run with the root user. So with the OS authentication, you cannot do it with the Oracle or Mallik or whatever the normal user cannot do it. This is a system daemon process. It has to be run with the root user. So the moment I do status OHSD, it will be running here. And if I do stop OHSD, it's gonna stop your HAS internally. That's gonna stop your ASM, and internally that's gonna stop your database. Everything will be shut down. You can see your database is getting down here now. Stop OHSD. Great. PS-FNEF, grep smon, everything is down. PS-FNEF, grep smon, everything is down. and you can do start OHSD. The moment you start your OHSD, automatically everything will come online. Check your status now. OHSD process running, and it has to be run with the root user. Right. So we started. Just do PSFNEF grep smon, and in few seconds your ASM and everything will come online. You can meantime validate with this crctl command plus ASM. Right. So your ASM instance is getting started now. Once ASM started, your database will get started. PSFNEF grep smon. Your ASM is back online. Right. Your database is getting started here now. PSFN grep smon. Right. You can see your database also got started. Right. So any maintenance you want to do it, you have to follow this hierarchy. You have to remember this HAS followed by ASM followed by database. And in order to do any maintenance on database, you can do individually database level, which will not impact your ASM or HAS. If you want to do any maintenance or ASM level, you can do that at ASM level, but make sure that associated database, you should get a downtime. Any maintenance you want to do at OHS level or OHSD or HAS level, make sure that you have downtime for database and ASM so that you can follow this hierarchy. Right, all the commands, everything is explained over here in the blog here, the grid infrastructure maintenance or Oracle restart, and you can follow this command and the output over here. All right, that's it for today's session, guys. Let's connect on the next session with exciting topics. Until then, take care. Bye bye.